So I haven't confessed in like a pretty decent amount of time, and I actually have a lot to say, so I'm gonna confess in a video rather than through just like typing. But basically, the swap was announced, and I've done this swap before because it was the exact same twist from Nine Worlds 4 where you pick another person to be on whatever tribe. And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about how, like, it being divided exactly the way that the tribes were divided before was not really beneficial. And like Starbright agreed with that because Starbright was also in my season where this twist happened. So we both agreed that we kind of wanted to divide out and pull in people from other tribes to be our numbers. That way we would expand like who we were working with. And we would also like be able to maintain the numbers throughout various tribes, especially with like the core four alliance that I had with me, Drew, Justin, and Chris. There I go again, flopping back and forth between their real names and their model rep names. But then Sylvia, because Sylvia and I know each other, we've known each other for quite some time because she was in like my first game. I'm not counting the game that I got 19th in that I flopped in. That doesn't count. Even the host of that game, Sunday, said that I have the right to not count that game. But I talked to Sylvia, and Sylvia told me a lot of the dynamics of her tribe. Like, she was a target because Issa targeted her for being close with Michelle, because apparently her and Michelle are a tight duo. I don't know where that came from. I'm more worried about Michelle being a tight duo with, like, I don't know, the person she co-hosts a game with, or like the people who are actually in her tight friend group, not Naveed. But anyway, so Sylvia comes to me and she's like, so I'm worried about the dynamics of the tribe because like while I do trust Carrie and Spencer, I don't really trust Malcolm and Jess because Malcolm and Jess are coming after me. And then Veronica was apparently playing all sides, and Veronica hasn't revealed her cards yet. So, because everybody just decided to vote out Carlos, so she didn't have to reveal her cards. But like it was apparently Alicia, Michelle, and Sylvia on one side, and then Malcolm and Jess on the other side with Veronica in the middle. And Malcolm has an idol. So Sylvia just really doesn't trust like going on the same tribe with those people again because she knows that Malcolm is gunning for her and Malcolm has an idol and she could get idled out. Which, like, I don't blame her. I think that I would want to go on a different tribe too in that circumstance. And then I said, okay, well, come with me. Like, I'll be loyal to you. You're like somebody who I care about. I'll pull you in. I'll try and get you in a majority with some of the people I was working with so that you'll be fine because I don't want Malcolm to idle you out either. So I went to my alliance, which my alliance consisted of me, Sarah, Starbright, and Dave. And I talked about the possibility of like us splitting up and then me pulling in Sylvia to be with like me and somebody else from my alliance so we would have the numbers. I was thinking Dave because one, Dave has a double vote, which controls like the majority of the tribe if we have like me, him, and Sylvia. Two, Sylvia doesn't really trust like a lot of people from my tribe except, well, okay, she does trust people from my tribe. She thought my tribe was very cute, but she doesn't trust certain people. Like, she doesn't really trust Sarah, which, like, Sarah has a lot of friends. I don't blame her. I mean, I'm trying to build trust with Sarah by like giving her information, but I don't fully trust Sarah either because I know Sarah has friends, like a friend group. She's friends with Michelle, she's friends with Ran, she's friends with like a lot of different people. But yeah, so ultimately I feel like Sylvia being with Dave was the best combination because they apparently worked together in Enchanted 2 and they were like brighter days or something. I don't know. Dave was telling me this. I wasn't even in the community yet when Enchanted 2 happened. My first game was Enchanted 3. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't because we're not counting it. But anyway, so, yeah, so I had initially came up with a plan to be on a tribe with Sylvia and Dave, but I wanted a fourth because I didn't want Dave to have to play his double vote because I think that double vote is beneficial to have later on. At least I wouldn't be playing it yet or wanting him to play it yet if I like had control over the choice. But I wanted a fourth just because there's safety in numbers. And my fourth in my head was Derek, aka Kitty, because me and Kitty were good friends before the game as well. And I know Kitty doesn't have a lot of connections, so I would love to like pull Kitty into my group because I feel like she would be loyal to it. But then when I was talking to Kitty about it, I was like, hey, I still really want to work with you. You're still a potential final two option for me because I really love you as a person. And she was being very small talky and not very receptive, at least not in the way that I would want her to be receptive. So I was like, maybe she doesn't want to be on this tribe. Maybe she wants to be with like Fenella and those people, and she doesn't want to be over here just yet. So I talked to Dave about it, and I was like, hey, she's not really being receptive. I also talked to Naveed about it as well. I was like, hey guys, Kitty's not really being receptive. I don't know if she wants to be over here or not. So we ultimately decided that we'd pull in Graham because Fenella told Dave that Sunday, Sarah, and Starbright were a 3 and that he thought Graham would go next on my tribe and that me and Dave would go next, which kind of makes sense, honestly, because I do feel like Starbright and Sunday are a lot closer than they're letting on. A lot closer than they're letting on, actually. I even outright asked Starbright, are you friends with Sunday? And he said, not really, but we like each other a lot. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, I think that you and Sunday are closer than you're letting on too. And I think Fenella, I don't see Fenella lying. Well, actually, I do kind of see Fenella potentially lying about it, but with the way that people are talking, it makes sense because Sarah was telling me that she trusts Sunday enough to stick with us, and Starbright was saying the same thing, but they don't trust Graham to stick with us, and I'm just like, okay, like it's just all like adding up in my head now that that was thrown out into the universe that Sunday, Sarah, and Starbright were the actual 3 like controlling the tribe, and that me and Dave were more towards the bottom. But we have the agency to now pick our tribes, and I'm going with Dave and Sylvia, who I really trust both Dave and Sylvia. So, and then we were going to bring in Graham because we didn't want Graham to be like an easy boot because I feel like Graham doesn't have like a lot of a social game. And honestly, I don't really care much about Graham. I'm not really conversing with Graham. He's not making a connection with me. He could honestly go. But if he is an extra number that's isolated by himself, then I understand why Dave would want to nurture that relationship and bring him in. I just don't really feel like Graham has much of a relationship with me. Even now, I don't feel that way. So we made this group called the Four Friends. It's me, Sylvia, Graham, and Dave because we decided that was going to be the 4-person majority. Ursula decides that she wants to be on our tribe because she loves me and Dave and Starbright, which, great, you can love me all you want. I don't really love you, but you can be on my tribe and be another number for me and help me gain control. That's fine. So Ursula wanted to be with us, and I'm just thinking, okay, well, I guess that's fine because Ursula would just be booted second and we could get rid of whoever ends up on our tribe accidentally first. And then Kitty comes up to me and messages me and she's like, okay, so what's the plan, Sam? Like, let's be on a tribe together. And I was like, okay, you weren't receptive of me all last night. And I literally like was throwing my heart out to you and you just like were giving me generic responses back. So I was just not really like thinking about you anymore, honestly. And then you come up and you say, oh, I want to be on a tribe with you. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to hurt my relationship with Kitty because I do trust her, but I don't know if I want to be on a tribe with her anymore. So I tell Kitty that like I'm afraid that like our spots might be like filling because Graham wants to be with Dave, and then I want to be with Sylvia to protect Sylvia from going home soon, because me and Kitty had talked about that the previous night, that I wanted to specifically be on a tribe with Sylvia to protect her from getting like idled out, and because Sylvia felt uncomfortable about her tribe and gave me lots of information. So Kitty was like, well, I could join you guys because that's a cute group and we would still have one easy boot. And I'm like, I didn't tell her that Ursula was joining us. I'm just like, I really don't want to be on a tribe with like everybody who wants to work with me and Dave. I really don't. I want to have an easy boot. So Dave tells her that the spots are just filling, and I'm kind of like, I mean, if you really want to be on my tribe, Kitty, I'll help you be on my tribe because I'm not gonna screw you over. And I wouldn't screw over Derek. I love Derek, but I think it's best that you kind of like have your own little group that I go here and you go there, so I don't have to be forced to make a decision to like cut people who are close to me besides Ursula, who I don't give a fuck about. And then she was like, okay, well, I'll go with my OG tribe. It's fine. And I'm like, okay, good. Okay, we got that settled. I'm not burning my bridges with Kitty, hopefully. So the tribes are divided. Everything goes really smoothly. Me, Sylvia, Graham, and Dave all end up on the same tribe. Ursula ends up with us, and then Will pushes Gary onto our tribe, which is like a great first boot because I know Gary doesn't have an idol. Because I know all the idols. I know that Will has one. I know that Jesse has one. I know that Starbright has one, and then of course Malcolm has one. So the tribe divisions are great. Gary was the easy first boot. We had the challenge. The challenge was really fun, but we sucked at it, honestly. And I knew we were gonna lose. I was like, yay, we did so good, guys. But no, we did horrible. And I knew we did horrible. I was just saving face to boost morale. But we're going to tribal council. Sylvia wants to keep Gary and get rid of Ursula for challenges. But I don't trust Gary to stick with us. I think that he has connections elsewhere, whereas Ursula has nobody. And I think the smart thing to do would be to boot Gary first, and then if we lose, then boot Ursula second. So I feel really good about my position. I think Dave is kind of the one running the tribe, but I think I'm like his second in command, and I think that like me and Dave are like sort of running it together, but I think Dave has the best relationships over me. But I don't think Dave will screw me over. Dave has talked about going to like the final two with me. And honestly, I love Dave. I wouldn't necessarily mind that. It just kind of depends on if I could beat him in the end or not when we get closer to that time. But I love the idea of working with Dave for now. He wants to play his double vote because he feels like it would put a target on his back. I don't want him to play his double vote because like what if we need it later down the line? Like we don't need to play it right now. Why don't we keep it for a rainy day? But he thinks it's like too big of a target on his back, especially if we swap into bigger tribes. And I'm like, okay, if you want to play it, Dave. It's fine. And yeah, that's pretty much all of the events that's been happening. I think I've covered like everything. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I hope you enjoyed my round 3 confessional. I'm a really fast talker, and I'm trying to get all this information in like less than 15 minutes. So I hope that this was still enjoyable, even though I talk like 90 miles an hour. But yeah, I'm ending this now. Peace.